My wife gave my car to her entitled brother without asking, and he refused to return it. I didn't argue. I reported it stolen and bought a new one. He was arrested 3 days later. I, 34, male, am, or rather was, a pretty simple guy. I work in data analysis, which is about as thrilling as it sounds. My life was a comfortable routine: work, home, a bit of gaming, and spending time with my wife, Danielle, 32. We've been married for 5 years. It's been fine, not a fairy tale, but what is? We had our disagreements, mostly about her family, specifically her younger brother, Logan, 26. Logan is the dictionary definition of a screw-up with an entitlement complex the size of a small moon. He drifts from one get-rich-quick scheme to another, all of which seem to require substantial loans from family that are never repaid. He sees other people's possessions not as theirs but as things he's temporarily not using. My in-laws, Wayne and Marilyn, enable him at every turn. Danielle, unfortunately, follows their lead. My pride and joy was my car, a 2-year-old Audi S4. Not outrageously fancy, but it was mine. I bought it with a bonus I worked my tail off for. It was my sanctuary, the one place where I could just be. The leather still smelled new. I kept it immaculate. Last Tuesday, I had a colonoscopy scheduled, a real highlight of my week. Because of the sedation, I couldn't drive. My doctor's standing instruction is always, no major decisions, no work, and no phone for 24 hours to let the fog fully clear. It's a policy I take seriously. I took an Uber to the clinic in the morning. Danielle was working from home. I got back around 2 p.m., woozy and feeling like I'd gone a few rounds with a heavyweight. I mumbled something to Danielle, put my phone on the charger in the kitchen, turned it off, and went straight to bed. The next morning, Wednesday, I felt human again and ready to head back to the office. I grabbed my work bag, went to the garage, and nothing. The space where my S4 should have been was empty, just a dark, oily patch on the concrete where my baby used to sleep. My first thought was theft. A wave of cold dread washed over me. I ran back inside, heart pounding. Danielle, the car's gone. Did you move it? She was at the kitchen island, sipping a latte and scrolling on her phone. She didn't even look up. Oh, Logan needed to borrow it. I stopped dead. The words didn't compute for a second. What? What do you mean he needed to borrow it? His car is in the shop again, and he had to go see a guy about an investment, an opportunity. It was important. She finally graced me with her attention, an annoyed little frown on her face. He called me yesterday while you were sleeping it off. He knew you wouldn't be able to drive. My voice was dangerously calm. And you gave him the keys to my car without asking me? You know my phone was off, but you could have woken me. Danielle, you were completely out of it. I didn't want to bother you. She waved a dismissive hand. And honestly, I knew you'd say no and make a big deal out of it. He's my brother. Family helps each other out. He said he'd have it back last night. The casual confession that she intentionally circumvented me because she knew I'd object, that's what did it. It wasn't an oversight. It was a deliberate act of disrespect. Just a car, I could hear her thinking. But it wasn't just a car. It was a $60,000 asset and a symbol of my hard work, and she gave it away like it was a cup of sugar. I took a deep breath. I knew arguing would be like screaming into a hurricane, pointless and exhausting. Where is he? I asked, my voice flat. I don't know. He's not answering his phone. He's probably busy. Okay. I walked over, powered on my phone, and dialed. Danielle's eyes widened. Who are you calling? The police, I said simply. To report a stolen vehicle. Her face went from annoyed to horrified in a nanosecond. Are you serious? You can't do that. It's Logan. You'll get him arrested. He took my property without my permission. He refuses to return it. That, by definition, is theft. I turned my back to her and started speaking to the dispatcher. I gave them the make, model, VIN, and license plate number. I explained that the vehicle was taken from my home while I was medically recovering and unable to grant consent. I did not mention Logan by name, I just said I had reason to believe a family member had taken the keys without authorization. Danielle was shrieking, "You're going to ruin his life. He's my brother. You're choosing a stupid car over my family." You chose, I said, ending the call. You chose when you gave him something that wasn't yours to give. I'm just dealing with the consequences. I spent the rest of the day arranging for a rental. Danielle alternated between venomous glares, tearful pleading, and frantic calls to her parents and Logan, who was still ghosting everyone. Her parents called me. Of course, my father-in-law, Wayne, tried to be intimidating. "Son, you need to call this off. It's a family matter. You're making a mountain out of a molehill." "Wayne," I said, "your son has stolen a significant asset from me. The only mountain here is the one he's created. This is now a police matter." My mother-in-law, Marilyn, tried the emotional approach. "Think about what this will do to Logan, a police record. It could ruin his future." "Danielle is devastated. He should have thought about his future before he decided to commit a felony," I replied. "And Danielle should have thought about my reaction before she enabled him." I didn't raise my voice once. I was eerily calm. That seemed to scare them more than anything. I spent Wednesday and Thursday working from home. The silence in the house was thick enough to chew. Danielle slept in the guest room. Fine by me. This morning, Friday, around 10 a.m., my phone rang. It was Detective Russell from the local precinct. "Mr. Davidson, we've located your vehicle, and we have the individual who was driving it in custody." My heart gave a little thump. Okay. The driver is a Mr. Logan Sterling. He claims he's your brother-in-law and says he had permission to have the car. I took a breath. Detective, he did not have my permission. My wife gave him the keys without my knowledge while I was medically recovering. I have not spoken to him in over a week. He has refused all contact since taking the vehicle. There was a pause on the other end. I see. Well, the car is pretty banged up. Looks like it was in a collision. And we found paraphernalia in the glove compartment, not a large amount of a controlled substance, but enough to file a charge. Of course. Of freaking course. Mr. Davidson, we'll need you to come down to the station to make a formal statement and to the impound lot to identify the vehicle. I'll be there within the hour. As I hung up, Danielle came storming into the room, her face pale and streaked with tears. Her phone must have blown up. They arrested him. They arrested my baby brother. How could you do this? I just looked at her.